We are live. Welcome to On the King's Dime. It is Monday night, 11th of the 11th, Remembrance Day, lest we forget. Welcome to the show. We've got an action-packed episode. The Kings 8-1, absolutely killing it, which is good for us, but great for Kings fans. As always, you can like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. We're going out live on Facebook right now. We're on iTunes and Podcast Addict, doing a little bit of tweeting too, which is good. Good, mainly just whinging about the refs, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Leave some comments too if you're watching. We want interaction. If you want to have a discussion, then leave some comments. Got Andrew with me as always. Rocking the old school jerseys. They had the retro jerseys on this weekend.
Oh no, they're actually not too bad. No, this I think is an early 2000s jersey.
Wow, that's going way back. I got. I'm not going to show the number because it's a sad Jerome Randall from last year's jersey. I wanted Kevin Lish, but I got Jerome Randall, so beggars can't be choosers. But yeah, we are live. So like, share, and subscribe. Like us on Facebook and on YouTube. 8-1, man. How does it feel after slogging through that season last season to come all the way through, it's sort of a weird ending with Gaze to, the unknown in Will Weaver, a little bit of roster upheaval, some new guys. Here we sit 8-1, top of the league after 9 games.
My prophetic loss to Brisbane in the tipping did not come to fruition, so that's always good.
Yeah, what's up with that?
At that stage, it looked like it. I mean, until they just absolutely crapped the bed in the third quarter. It's like, Brisbane's actually going to win here, but they scored 8 points in the third quarter.
After your strange sort of. Actually, why would I say that was strange? I actually was quite prophetic as well, just being like, Brisbane are absolute trash. We are going to smash them, and we smashed them in that first game. Obviously, it was a good win in Brisbane Friday night. Pretty easy Friday night after a long week to go all the way up there and win that game. What did we win that? I think it was 95-84. I've got the box score here somewhere. Where have I got it?
Yeah, but it was over. It was over halfway through the fourth quarter.
It was
probably even over. It was over before that, and it was some good trash time for some of the guys, which was good to see.
It was a decent start in this game. I thought we started well again. Like we have. Do you feel like we're like a little bit casual out of the box sometimes at the moment, even though we're winning?
Yeah, a little bit casual. It doesn't seem like we really start churning it until third quarter. That seems to be the quarter where we just blow them away. You look at all the wins over the last, month and a bit, and third quarter is where we're really excelling. But it's also where other teams just fall off the block, and I think that goes to do with the depth in the squads, and I think they just ran offense for Lamar Patterson. Sobey absolutely had a trash night. Kadee was just woeful. There was so many fouls in this game. It was abhorrent, the amount of fouls. And on both sides, man, there's some bad calls. Trash refereeing at its finest. NBL, $10 an hour refereeing.
$10 an hour minimum wage refereeing.
Minimum wage refereeing, man. It's horrible. They put them on the Greyhound buses to get up there. They're probably tired. It's just terrible. I don't get. They're so strict on calling, unsportsmanlike fouls. Yet they haven't read that if you're inside 3 feet, you can't draw a charge.
Yeah, inside the cylinder.
Inside this, you cannot draw a charge. Yet every time they call a charge, it's why? What is this? I don't understand. And screens. Moving through screens, he moved his shoulder, it's a foul. It's like, no. And sometimes they'll quite clearly push off, and then other times they'll just maybe lead a little bit with the shoulder. Oh, no, it's an offensive foul.
It's so selective too. I was trying to save the reference because we've got reference for both games, but we'll get right into it because 4 guys fouling out in that game, man. Do we need this in the NBL? Do we need 1 or 2 guys fouling out? Really? I think the product itself, it's not fiery anymore. It's quite a professional product. Everyone, there's no huge intense rivalries where things get heated. Everyone's pretty tame and professional. I don't know why we need to introduce a set of refs that just don't really control the games that well. They're very inconsistent, very all over the place. sometimes you'll just go down the floor, you're right, and then like there's a huge collision, and they'll just be like, ooh, tough basketball, and then you go down the other end, and it's like, you know, a pretty mild collision. Like there was two where Kickett just had his arm straight up.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not great defense, but it's not a foul if you just run into a guy with his arm straight up, like he's going vertical. He's not, you know, putting his arms out into anyone. They got 2 fouls. Yet in the Perth game, there was one where he got a charge for that, and I was like, what's going on here? Like you gave him 2 fouls in the Brisbane game. But we'll come back to the refs anyway against Perth. We won't go too ham on the refs right now. But it was a good game against Brisbane. I thought we started all right. And then sort of Brisbane got real hot in the end of that first half. Like we came back into it with about 3 or 4 minutes-ish to go. Then Brisbane was just lighting it up at the end of the...
It was just Hodgson and Hodgson was getting some good baskets, but it was also just...
Kadee, actually, I think Kadee had 3 of 7. Like I put in my notes here, like Kadee was lighting it up, and then I went and looked at the box score, and he had 3 of 7 basically from 3. So they were his only 3 threes in that little stretch. I think he had maybe 1 after halftime.
Yeah,
and
they were just trash in that third quarter. But the first half, they ran a lot of their offense through Patterson. Magnay was in foul trouble. A lot of the guys were, you know, and then just bad foul calls, and you know. If you're a Brisbane fan, you should have some salt too, because there were bad foul calls on both ends. And there's some bad foul calls. Then guys get into trouble. Then defense breaks down because they're not playing. They're worried. And then they just foul out with 4 minutes to go. And you're just like... Oh.
Well, Singler fouled out like real... I think Singler might have even fouled out in the third quarter. Like it was real early. Or maybe early in the fourth. But Singler fouled out. Hodgson fouled out. Sobey fouled out, like a guard fouling out after 2 other guys foul out. That's pretty kind of unheard of. And then obviously jae'sean Tate fouling out. A little bit of salt because 3 of those fouls were just not fouls. Like one of them was on the perimeter, and one of them, I think, was it this game? No, I think he backed the guy down in. No, he might have had an offensive foul on a back down, because I was gonna talk about that against Perth, but he fouled out as well, and it was just, I don't know, man. Something's got to be done about this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, mate. You get you pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
Yeah.
Like, and they're so serious. It's like, oh, let's go back to the board and look at. I'll make sure there's an extra 2 seconds on the shot clock. It's like, why don't you go and check your terrible foul calls?
And there was a couple of safety harness talking to the side of a guy's head for about 30 seconds while the guy just stands there. And I'm like, are we going to interact at all with the ref? No, the ref's not going to say a thing. And he's going to walk off and blow his whistle over there. Oh, fair enough. But Hodgson actually, I thought, played pretty well in this game. He feasted inside. There's a few pretty skilled bigs in this league. Like, ability to finish around the rim. It kind of, you watch Bogut, and it's so just janky when he goes to, like, it's nice when he gets that little push floater, that little sort of like upward scoop floater. But some of these teams have really good big men who finish in traffic, and Bogut's obviously not blocking the ball as well this season. I think he's nursing a few little niggles, and as well as, I'm just not going to get injured in the third round, guys. Like, you know, I'm not going to put my body on the line in round 3.
Yeah, although he had 3 blocks this game against Brisbane. But yeah,
mainly because Hodgson and Patterson kind of went at him in the paint.
Pretty much, yeah, and that's, you're just going to get that. He's going to block some of them, but it was just, Hodgson was good, but cheap, silly fouls all the time. Like, just bad, running out to I think how he fouled out, he ran out to kick it, and Kickett just sidestepped and he bumped him.
Yeah, imagine fouling out on Kickett, basically putting the ball on the floor. Soft, but man, eat the L, eat the foul out, you know what I mean? He played well. Patterson, just, again, you look at these teams, I think I said to you this afternoon, like, we watch these teams and just go, Lamar Patterson putting up 20 shots. Not too scared of that. You know, I'm not that worried. If he's going to take 20 shots and go 7 of 20, you're probably going to win most of those games. Sobey didn't have the greatest night, 5 of 11. He looked scared, man, again. Like, a couple of times early, he tried to take it to the D, and then Diddy clamped him up a couple of times. That 8-point, we should talk about that 8-point quarter, basically. Crazy defense. And I didn't want to say it on Twitter. I didn't want to go public with it, but I thought, is that a little carryover from Gaze last season? Like, his marshalling of the team maybe, like, lets us have those defensive quarters where our defense comes to the fore. Maybe, am I reaching a little bit with that?
I don't know. I think maybe they they realised what was going on. I think, Hodgson had was in foul trouble and taken off out a lot of the third quarter, and then you kind of just had, Braun within. He was a bit defensively and offensively, and then Lamar Patterson looks like he's at Macca's every 2 days, and by the third quarter, just his cheeseburgers have run out.
Hungry Jacks, mate. Whoa, you missed it.
Oh,
you blew it. It's Hungry Jacks, mate. What are you doing?
Hungry Jacks, is it, mate? He misses free throws to eat his own Hungry Jacks. It's just.
I think we did get burgers in this game. I think it was at jae'sean Tate gave away burgers.
Yeah. He looks a bit Ray puffed in the third quarter. He doesn't look like you can. He doesn't look physically fit enough that you can run all your offense through all game. Yeah, you've got a half. By third quarter, if you've got nothing else going, it's just going to dry up, which is exactly what happened. I thought that maybe Sobey or Kadeti could have taken over, but they just seem to be clamped down. Man, Didi's a freaking good defender.
Beast.
He just clamped down Sobey and blocked him. It was just like, ugh. Yeah, this is elite point guards in Australia versus next stars. We've got a good round of next stars this tournament, so that's and I think. And
I'll tell a lie. jae'sean Tate didn't give away burgers. It was Kickett, the 90% free throw shooter, giving away burgers. Who is shooting the free throw at 50% this year? It's crazy.
Actually, our free throws have been terrible this year. Even Casper Ware's like 65 or something.
We've been shooting it at 69% this season. After like, this goes all the way back to you with your statements at the start when we started this podcast, being like, NBL known for its free throws, mate. They always make their free throws.
They did, like, for the season there, like Gazy's season, they did make their free throws, but this year it's just been
yeah.
Well, just the type of players that we have. Randall's a known free throw shooter. I thought Casper Ware was, but he's just fallen off the wayside.
Yeah, shooting at 71%. 76% rather. Brad Newley, though, I've got a stat this leads me into I've got a stat that'll blow your mind. Brad Newley shooting free throws 71%.
Oh wow,
that's not bad. It's not bad. But the actual stat that will blow your mind: Sean Bruce off the bench, most assists for us this season, 36 assists.
Wow,
how impressive was he in this game?
He was pretty impressive, man. He's dime central.
7 assists, 7 dimes. For someone like, we had a couple of guys where, Jordan Hunter, Moller, Kiwani, even Lucas Walker a little bit, where you're just like, what are these guys going to give us, man, on offense? But Sean Bruce quietly has just had a fantastic season off the bench. All-round play, I think. Shooting the ball quite well when he needs to shoot the ball, but just, tucking it in the pocket if he needs to and just diming the ball. 7 dimes again against Brisbane. Yeah, shout out to Sean Bruce. He's been fantastic this season.
They've all been really good, man. Must be Will Weaver getting the most out of his guys. Moller's been just like, offense a bit trash. Still getting points.
5 of 8 in this game. Not too bad.
Yeah, still getting points. He's 3 balls somewhat returned.
Yeah, he's getting his legs under him a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah, well, he shot the ball at NBL 1 at 35.5%. So he's not like he's a complete Gumby, but just maybe a more elite level of defending.
Yeah, that's I think again, he's found a defensive niche here, and with Didi as well. Like Didi's such a long guy at 6'5". I think Moller's 6'6" or 6'7" even. That's what's suffocating teams. Whereas last year we didn't have that guard. Like we had Adnan basically off the bench and Brian Bowen, who wasn't really known as a very good, great defender, not at the levels we've seen really from Moller and Didi Lozada. And against Brisbane and against Perth, you could kind of see these teams are now going, oh, they've got guards that can actually guard.
Casper Ware is pretty good on ball point guard defender. He's a much better defender than Jerome Randall on ball. And it's kind of like he might, there's not that many guards that are going to be that much bigger than him at the point. So he matches up quite well. But then at 2, you've just got Didi just crazy.
The length, man. It's crazy.
And when he wants to lock someone down as well, it's just kind of like, yeah, you're not getting to the basket.
Just been poking the ball away. I think he had 3 steals in this game. How many steals has he got this season? He's got 7 steals for the season. Who leads? jae'sean Tate with 8 leads steals for the season. But yeah, good all-round performance. That second half, I don't know if I really felt like going into halftime, I kind of didn't feel, that we're just going to come back and win this game. Like, this is going to be, it's still at a stage where, like, I want to see this team just lock it up. And I don't know if you can expect locking it up for 4 quarters, really, in the league. The league's gotten a lot better.
You can't expect it for 4 quarters, but it seems like the third quarter, they're just like, all right, we've sussed out what they're doing this game. I think that's a very big Will Weaver's strategy. Let's just suss out what we're doing. All the teams seem to take it to halftime. It's pretty close. Most games, there's not much blowing out. But by the third quarter, it's just like, all right, let's lock it down, get hot, and run a lot of offense through other guys. You see a lot of Casper Ware first, second quarter, and then third quarter is just like, oh, we're running through Sean Bruce, and then we're going to run through Moller. Then we're going to run through DD. And then it kind of, because all the teams have that 1 or 2 weak link defenders, where if you switch up who's running the offense, and it seems like everyone could put the ball on the floor pretty well, jae'sean Tate, then they don't know where to go. And it kind of just, they fall by the wayside because defense creates offense. The fast break situation breaks down. They're not getting any stops. Brisbane had a hell of a lot of turnovers this game as well, I suppose, from good defending.
17 turnovers, well, a lot of turnovers. And a lot of them came in that third quarter too.
Yeah, so it was just third quarter of trash running through Cheeseburger Man, and that was it.
Whopper, man. Come on, Whopper. Get it right.
We're trying to get sponsorship.
Yeah, we're trying to snag ourselves a sponsor on the podcast. Shout out too for Brad Newley. He had 20 points, 7 of 9 on the night. His 3 ball is quietly 4 of 4 from 3. His 3 balls quietly just.
It was a deep. I think it was a logo one as well. This game.
That was pretty sweet. All cotton too. Absolute, just pure. And corner Brad is still best Brad. I think he's just shooting it so well from the corner, and it's timely offense too. Like, and it's unexpected offense. Like, usually you're just like, oh, he's a deep beast in transition. When he gets to the hoop, he's too dangerous to guard. When the 3 ball's dropping, that's when it's like, all right, things are rolling. Like, this is a good thing for the Kings. Anything else we need to talk about this game? Brisbane game. It was a good win to come back. I think I still don't 100% trust this team. I still want to see them come back when we're down. I think we were down 15 at one point. I'm still not sitting there just going, we'll come back. It's all right. I was sitting there going, oh, is this going to be that game where we just fall in a hole? But I think we've seen twice now we've sort of come back to like level a game. I think it was against
Adelaide.
Yeah, Adelaide, where we came back from about 15 down again. So I think maybe 6 or 7 more times, and I might trust this team. But it was good to see us. Good to see us come back and get that win. On to the Perth game. It was in the end a 104-85. Should we call that a drubbing?
I'm going to call it a drubbing because it was really over 2 or 3 minutes into the fourth quarter.
I think it was over earlier than that. I think they had at one point they had 4 points in the third, like leading up to about 2 or 3 minutes to go in the third. It was only, I think they hit 3 threes pretty late on in that third. And again, it was that third quarter, yeah.
I think in the fourth quarter when Didi hit that 3, then and then Newley hit that 3, and then Bruce hit that 3. It was just like, yeah, this game's over.
And ridiculous.
Bring out the garbage minutes.
Garbage time. It's back, baby. It's great. It's fantastic. Andrew Bogut only played 18 minutes in this game.
It's just, he just doesn't need to play 28, 30 minutes. It's, somehow he's just made a way. And there was a real small ball lineup in this game as well, where I think Newley was the biggest player on court for like 2 or 3 minutes. That kind of worked well because they didn't really know what to do. So it was an interesting lineup mix. He seems to hide kick it quite well. They do score on kick it a little bit, but
it's not like last year where it's kicks. You gotta hold the fort, mate. And then it feels like this team is better equipped to just go, all right, we just get in front of guys who get in front of kick it, and then he doesn't get scored on that much.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just looking here. Diddy with a crazy plus 37. It says plus 37 on the NBL website.
On the index, wow.
No, plus minus 37, plus 37.
Oh, plus minus.
Yeah. I questioned that. I tweeted NBL facts and was like, dude, is that right? Like, surely that's one of the highest plus minuses ever in the history of the NBL. Maybe it's a misprint, but legit, like, I could put my screen up on the screen and show you. It says here 30 plus 37, man. Crazy stuff. More than his index. Insane. But
That is
yeah, a
nuts.
lot of shout out to all the Brazilian fans, man, because this is what we've been waiting for. Didi, fantastic night for him, man. Just shooting the 3-ball lights out. He's one of our guys where you expect when he takes the threes, he's just gonna have this night where he obviously went 7 of 11 tonight, last night, but you kind of just expecting it. Like his form's so pure. He's getting like they weren't guarding him at the start of this game. It was like, and he hits a wide open three. Didn't you guys read the scouting report? This guy can shoot threes from anywhere. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it was 27% going into that night. So I think they were like, oh, let's just let him shoot. But it was just like, yeah, but if you saw him preseason uninjured, he was just killing teams, like putting 28 points up against the Hawks just out of nowhere.
Really sort of surprised that it took a couple of games for him to come back from that injury, because prior to that injury, man, like he exploded into the preseason and was really showing off, not just 3-point shooting, but sublime skill getting to the rim, really like power. Like he had one real big boy move on Bryce Cotton where he just like bumped him across the lane, like absolutely into the car park basically, and then laid it up. I think that was the one where he missed the layup and then got the putback and got fouled right before he hit that three at the buzzer. Half-time, like a game full of moments. Just another one for him where you just feel like it's going in. And even that logo one he had too, where he's just like, he's on fire. He's gonna knock this one down too. And he's got that NBA range, which has helped us this season. But yeah, I think the night really belonged to him. Like we'd been shooting the team in general shot the 3-ball quite well.
50%. 50%.
Was it 50 in the end?
I think it was 47 in the end, or 48.
I got 45.5, but that's still impressive from, on the season, a scandalously low 32.5%. To play Sydney on a night where we shoot 45% from three, you've got to be sort of, as Perth, you got to just be going, damn it. You know what I mean? So is it sustainable? Look, I think it kind of is. I've been waiting for Didi to just go ham from three because I think he's capable of doing that. But we've been getting a pretty good buy-in from Brad Newley and from Sean Bruce. Even Kickett's been shooting the 3-ball quite well, 46%. Bruce is at 39%. Newley at 42%. Only just below Kevin Lish, who only played 3 games. He was shooting at 42% as well. I think if you take Casper Ware's maybe 4 or 5 shots away from him a game that he takes, because he's taken 9 threes a game. If you take maybe 3 or 4 of those away from him, we're probably shooting the 3-ball a little bit better. Casper's only shooting at 25%, but mainly a lot of that's volume and a lot of bad shots too. Like
a lot of shooting in traffic, a lot of just like last second heaves, really.
Not even like some of them are early shot clock. Like just I got the ball, I'm going to do something with it with 12 seconds left on the shot clock. And I noticed against Perth, he did that a couple of times really early on. A few guys were sort of standing around just going, dude, what are you doing? Like, stop this. And then he kind of tucked it back in the pocket for the rest of the game. He got to the hoop a fair bit. That was one thing against Brisbane, like he was just getting to the hoop. And I think he's got to put the 3-ball away because he's playing on ball. And when he's out there, he's kind of the main scorer. Yet he's taking a lot of bad threes. So I think you can clean that up a little bit.
I think it's probably because that's what his job was in Melbourne. Like, it was that really heavy scorer. He doesn't need to be that in Sydney. You could literally share the load. You've got Newley. You've got he had Goulding in Melbourne. Bogut's really come back. He's not scoring the ball at all because he doesn't really need to. It's you've got Didi, you've got Bruce, you've got Moller, you've got Kickett. You've got a lot of scoring options in this team. Whereas you look at the other NBL teams, they've really only got 3 scoring options in a 10-deep roster. And it's very hard to guard Sydney at all times, especially when you've got Bruce just hitting random threes, pulling up from everywhere. You've got Kickett, you can't leave alone at the 2 and 10 spot. He just drains it every time. Newley just sinks out to the corner, hitting crazy 3-balls. But what's really impressive is the ability to rebounding's picked up. Moller going on the crashing the offensive glass with Tate. That's the second chance points. It must be massive. I mean, I don't know if they do give that stat on the NBL website, but we must be doing much better in second chance points.
Yeah, we had 16 in this game. To Perth's 20. So who knows? Maybe I'll have to go back through the stats. I haven't really been capturing that.
Yeah,
but you're right. It feels like definitely feels like our rebounding is so much better.
It's noticeably better. And I think that's the addition of, another big guy in Moller and just a little bulldog in jae'sean Tate.
Schematically, does it feel better? Schematically, it feels better?
Yeah, schematically feels better. I just like Tate, Tate is the opposite of Randall, where Randall will disappear in three guys and somehow the ball will go in. Whereas jae'sean Tate will be around three guys and that ball's going in because he's going to pump Tate three times. They're all going to bite it and it's just going in around the rim. He's probably got one of the best, probably outside of Nick Kay, one of the best finishers around the rim in the league.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've got it here in my notes. Where is it? Tate, 42 of 60 on the season, 70% from two.
That's crazy.
That's fantastic, man. It's
so efficient.
Yeah, super efficient, super vital too, because it keeps things ticking over, and they're hustle buckets too. They make everyone get energized. It's not as though it's a breakdown and somebody scores or something like that. Like he's like bumping guys, giving it the pump up. I think it's important scoring. Like he's been fantastic. What an addition this season. He was great against Perth. The stat sheet didn't really sort of show. He had 12 points. 5 of 7 again, 8 rebounds. I think I said before the game, like it was going to be a huge test to play against Kay. Like Kay's probably one of the best big men at 4 in the league in terms of can shoot the ball, drags you out, quite savvy in traffic, quite savvy in the lane. And I thought he played really, really well against Nick Kay. Like it was a huge test. Kay played all right. He had 18 points, 6 of 9, but it was mainly like Tate. I think just his body was really disrupting, because you look at this Perth team. Bryce Cotton had 36, but did that ever feel like oh man, Bryce Cotton was unstoppable tonight? It was just kind of like, yeah, you just keep shooting threes, man. Like we'll just go down the other end and score, and you just keep shooting threes. No worries, man.
Yeah, it just felt like that was pretty much their only option. Tariq White was non-existent. Damian Martin doesn't have any offense, and who's their big man?
Okay, and Hunt.
Hunt is completely useless offensively. And
look, around the basket, he was all right. Like not horrible, but again, like a lot of Bryce Cotton just running around endlessly, and you praise that and you go, yeah, that's great. Like well done, Bryce Cotton. What an engine. But at the same time, like by the third and fourth, like you could tell he was just gassed, man, and doing a lot of like running up and having to go around guys and shoot. Like it wears you out if you're the only scorer. Wagstaff didn't play well. Damian Martin, man, just father time starting to creep up on him. Like there was a couple, like I wanted to say Bogut's chemistry with Ware's getting a lot better. Like his passing chemistry. I've noticed we don't run a lot of pick and roll, like dedicated on ball pick and roll. It's a lot of kind of rub action, Bogut with the ball. And the amount of times like Ware's guy will come all the way up as if there's a handoff and Ware will just cut. And Bogut's like sensing that now. He's got the handle on that. Didi did it a couple of times actually. He got a good dime. Brad Newley was doing it a lot last season. So I think their chemistry is getting a little bit better. Where was I going with that?
Keep that thought. I'm just going to bow to the toilet for 2 minutes.
Oh, wow. Mid-pod leaving.
Solo. Do it
solo. Oh, I'll continue on. No, it was a great game. When he comes back, wow, this is a first on the King's dime. Midstream toilet break. How unprofessional is this? But we'll talk about Deshaun Taylor when he comes back, because I thought he was all right against Brisbane. Not 100% sure how he fits this team. Like he's quite athletically gifted, quite good on the defensive end, although he's plus minus since coming here. He's been a minus 15 on court, which I don't think that tells the full story, because I think he's a decent defender, pretty solid, has some decent size, but offensively I'm not 100% sure where he fits. But we were saying that sort of thing at the start of the season, really, for Moller. Like there was a few guys with question marks at the start of the season. What else have I got in my notes here? I'm just doing this solo. Shout out the comments if you want to have a crack at Andy for leaving the stream midstream. What else do we got here? The retro jerseys were pretty sweet. Raining the 3 balls. Perth, again, like I've got to say, man, this Brisbane team looked like, oh no, we've got no one to combat this size. What do we do, guys? Whereas last year, guards would just run wild against us. And when the guards ran wild, that's when, we'd kind of fall in a heap. We'd have no answers for it. We'd struggle and just lose a game like that. We just, oh no, we're down 12. Oh no, we've just lost a game because we couldn't score the ball. Now these teams are coming up against us and going, wow, they've got a lot of length on the perimeter, guys. Look, you're going to try and get, no, I'm not going to try. And then we're getting these sort of like low third quarter games where we come out and just absolutely put the clamps on teams. Diddy's been fantastic defensively. He was great in this game. Bogut again, I'm a little bit sort of worried about. Not worried, but I'm happy that he's sort of just taking it easy, because he did look a little bit ginger to start the season. He's had a couple of little niggly injuries. You can definitely sense the lack of shot blocking and lack of rim protection defensively when we are out there without Bogut. But Kickett's done, like, shout out to Kickett, man. He's done quite well. His defense is not great. Defensively, he kind of struggles. Puts his arms up. Like, there's a couple of times where he cops that arms up, defensive foul where a guy just drives into him. Like, I thought, do we not play in a game where we have verticality? The other thing too, like, we'll go on a ref rant here while Andy's not here, but I've never seen a guy back down another guy. The defender falls over, like, just takes a dive to the floor, and we go, yeah, that's great defending, man. Superb stuff. He just, like, went to the floor while a guy backed him down. We're not talking about a live dribble to the basket. We're not talking about a guy that's out of control, bumps into a dude, so it's an offensive foul. We're talking about a guy who backs another guy down. Like, if you can't handle that in the post, you fall on the floor. People should just be Sean Kemp style, pointing at you and laughing as the guy lays the ball in and says, that's terrible defense. Like, the comms team shouldn't be going, oh, that's great defense. Like, he drew the offensive foul there. Offensive fouls this season they've skyrocketed, man. There's so many just really, really bad calls. Like, guys moving. Shaili, when we played against Melbourne, had this one where he was just kind of skipping across. Both feet were off the ground and he went flying. Nearly injured himself. And I'm just going, that's, if you get injured there, that's not unlucky. That's just bad defense. Like, you shouldn't be throwing yourself in front of a guy who's pretty much off a one step going to the cup, trying to draw a foul like that. I think the refs, again, in this game were a bit average. They're just trying to sort of, control games. Like, let these games flow and then pull the team back. Like, pull the teams back rather than pull each individual thing back here and there and everywhere. Casper Ware cannot get an outside shot.
We're back.
He's back, relieved, fresh, ready to go. I could have done some sort of pause action, but I was unprepared for a midstream toilet break. But that's good. Get these shout outs in the comments. Ware can't get a 3 foul, man. Like, he's been hit 3 or 4 times this season. I think he's got 1. And he just gets, like, Bryce Cotton seems to just get these for nothing. Like, a guy like next to Bryce Cotton, and he gets, there's 3 shots, he's going to the line. And you're just like, what? Where's the foul there? Casper got hit again. One of the first things I led were, like, when you were in the break was DeSean Taylor. What do you think of DeSean Taylor so far?
I can see why he's let go by Adelaide. Pretty enthusiastic dude, but 3 ball just looks weird.
It's such a, like, early release from way out in front of him, eh? It's like a sort of thing. It's really
like
weird.
A Lonzo Ball style 3.
A super early release, yeah.
Yeah, it's not high elbow.
Defensively?
Good, solid. I think he gets to the guy, he gets in front of his attacker. But I just think offensively a little bit young. Maybe needs a couple of.
How old is he?
22. I think he's just out of college. Played 3 years, I think.
Born 96, so that's 23, yeah.
First year out, I think, as a pro. Obviously played pre-season with Adelaide and then got released by Adelaide. So maybe need some time in the G League. Who knows?
Yeah, I think I prefer Kevin Lynch. I think when Kevin Lynch is back, it's kind of, we've just quietly, maybe, Kawani got some minutes in this, hit a 3, which was good to see him hit a 3. Yeah. I think maybe if we want to defensively keep, like, DeSean Taylor's not the worst defender. Like, you wouldn't, I haven't felt like, oh no, we're really losing something here, despite him having, being a minus 15 so far this season when he's on the court. He still doesn't feel like a minus defender, really, to me.
No, it seems like they go on runs, but he's in lineups with Kickett a lot. So that's always, you're going to obviously be a little bit on the worst defensive ends of things. What's Kickett this year in terms of plus minus?
Let me just bring that up. Oh, what's going on? It's disappeared. I deleted it for some reason. Kickett is a plus 21 on the season so far.
That's not bad.
Hutchison with a plus 7, not bad. Lockie?
deep garbage time.
Yeah, Lucas Walker -4 and then Hunter -4 as well. Hunter still looks, man, very unprepared for the NBL.
Just goofy.
Stone hands, man. He's got stone. Very unaware in the lane too. Like a couple of times, man. He's been out there and it's like a normal pass to him, and he's kind of like looking over his shoulder somewhere, and then he's like, "Oh, the ball's there," and you're just like, "Why aren't you looking? Like that's where the ball's coming from. Why aren't you looking at it, man?" But they said on the telecast actually he's been working with Luke Longley a lot in the in the post match, so that's good. Like it's good to have Luke Longley there to guide some guys. I think Moller was talking about he's been, talking with Luke Longley. It's good to see that as well. Other things I was talking about while you were away, did we say enough about him? Oh, he's got dog issues now. He's got to let the dog out. Wow, the 8-1 and the wheels just fall off this podcast. The professionalism just goes to the dogs. We're just having a party now, 8-1. Professionalism out the window. Just frolicking in such a fantastic season that we're having, rolling in our own filth.
Oh, that's my dog. She wanted outside. She was annoying the crap out of me.
Two toilet breaks in one, mate. I guess, should we say a little bit more about Didi for our Brazilian viewers, our Brazilian fans? Just phenomenal, man. I think it's only just beginning for him.
We saw this preseason, though. We saw this. This is what we wanted to see. And we're getting it finally, which is good. But I think there's still more. I think there's more in him.
Oh, for sure. And it feels like it too, man. It feels like he's going to explode again and again and again. And again, it was something we didn't have last season. A guy that was just like, just keep feeding him the ball, keep feeding him the ball. And then we fed him twice, and then he got yanked for whatever reason, maybe just to rest him. Then he came back, and I would have been like, "Where's Didi? Where is he? Set him up a play." A couple of times, he's not even guarding him. I'm like, "What are you doing?" Yes. Crazy.
I don't know. Bad coaching. Bad scouting reports. I don't know, but seems to lack. He always seems to get free. He's always able to go coast to coast as well, which is another thing that's just weird. He's not locked down. But yeah, man, we saw this preseason. We thought he was going to be something special, and we were right.
And those explosive nights from three, I think, are going to be super important for us down the stretch of this season. I think it can be the real sort of how would you say it? The difference maker is a crazy guy like a Goulding who could just on any given night go for 7 of 11 and like light the crowd up, get everyone ignited. A lot of praise too coming out after the game. Like I was like after the games, oh, this is great, fantastic, and then like to read through Twitter and that, he's getting so much just love and respect. It's good to see. I think we're a very team-oriented team, and to see a guy get a lot of love and respect for an individual performance is great to see too, because maybe we don't see enough of that being a team,
Yeah, being, a team of many and not a team of one, superstars, but a superstar team. That seems weird, but we can obviously make comparisons and draw comparisons from last year, this year. Really, we only had one go-to guy last year. Lish wasn't great at all times offensively, so we just had Jerome Randall, and that was it, really. And in Gaze's like scheming, it was no guys ever were just inside open. You know what I mean? Like it was high ball, just crossing. Not a lot of picks. It was a weird season last year, man. Just like dudes just playing, oh yeah, you're just going to play 6 minutes in this court. And like just not, it was bad.
No diving, man. That was the big thing. The big thing from last year to this year is no diving to the hoop last year. This year, like if you go back and watch the Long Island Nets, their game was built on diving, basically diving to the hole. And big guys who are really, really savvy in the lane, savvy off of one dribble, scoring around the rim and stuff like that. And, what better array of players? You got Newley can get to the basket. Tate can get to the basket. Ware's great at getting to the basket. Even Bogut, when he puts the ball on the floor, it's quality. Didi can do it. Bruce off the bench will run a nice conventional point. Moller's tucked the 3 ball back in the pocket. And then he shot 1 of 3 last night. But getting to the hoop, he's gotten a lot stronger, man. Like he struggled at the start of the season putting the ball on the floor. These last few games, he's really starting to come on strong. He's got an array of sort of like one dribble, little pull up. He's found he can shoot over smaller guys if he's on a smaller guy, which is great to see. He's improved massively. All right, we should start to wrap this up now. After a couple of toilet breaks, we have predictions. Predictions first or MVP first?
We'll go MVP first.
All right, what do you got for me at Brisbane?
I'm going to go Newley 3,
Newells. I had Newley 3 as well.
Bogut 2.
Bogut 2.
Yeah,
Was
highest plus
he
minus.
good? Highest plus minus? Is
Plus
that
is
what we're
minus
giving out
3
2
plus.
points?
Yeah, just, I think that third quarter was just massive defense. So you don't have to be an offense, but just the amount of shots he changed, pushed guys out on the perimeter, allowed other guys to defend on the perimeter, which we are very strong at. So I'd say that. I'm going to give 1 point to Tate.
jae'sean Tate. So I went with Newley 3 points, Tate 2, because I think Tate was fantastic, even though he fouled out. And then I had Ware 1 point.
Okay.
Now at Perth.
Lazada 3.
Did you lock it in? I already had it written in. What's your 2?
A 2, I'm going to have to go Newley again.
Newley?
Yeah, I just think at the right times, big buckets, getting the hoop, defended really well. And 1, I'm going to go Moller. I think
Moller again. Loves these little cheeky Mollers in with the 1 point. I think that's perfect. The perfect spot for Craig Moller is just you know what? He deserves a little 1 point, cheeky 1 point here, because he's always that guy where you're just like, I want to give a shout out to him because he's playing really well. I had Lazada 3, Casper Ware 2, Newley 1. At the halfway point, we'll go through and we'll tally up where we're at halfway. I got it all tallied up here. I won't spoil that. We'll reveal that in the half season health check pod. Actually, I did want to say, like in my notes I had after the Brisbane game, I had, man, do we need to do a Didi Lazada health check? Sort of do we need to reassess sort of thing? And then he had that explosive game. And
he put up lame though towards the end of this Perth game. I don't know if it was cramps.
They said after the game he was cramping, and it wasn't anything bad, so that was good. His translator said that it was cramping up a little bit, so could have needed a double amputation, and his translator might have said that. But I meant more just on his time so far, really, not necessarily his health. Like, did we need to have a little? Do we need to have a chat and reassess where Diddy's at here? Because, but then he had that explosive game, so then all we can say is good things. Predictions for round 7: Wildcats at the 36ers.
36ers, man. I think that they can do it. Got some bigs that can stretch the floor at least.
I'm going Wildcats, bounce back game for the Wildcats. I don't know, man. Cotton, Randall, DJ, and their array of bigs. I don't know. I just looked at that Perth team and just went, man, you guys are another year older. We've got some big guards now. So we see you and we raise you. Like, what do you got now? Yeah. So it'll be interesting when we play them in a couple of weeks' time. Phoenix at United, another Melbourne slam, or whatever they call it.
United's strong, man. I think United are going to take it. They've been
flying, 4 from 4. I'll go United as well. I want to say Phoenix. No, I'm going to go Phoenix. Just a sneaky Southeast Melbourne Phoenix from nowhere. Bullets at the Taipans, a Brisbane slam.
Queensland Derby.
Yeah, Queensland Derby. Sorry, Taipans fans.
I'm gonna go to Taipans.
Types.
I don't know. They've got to bounce back from that loss to the Hawks, I think, and Bullets are just too many cheeseburgers.
I think I went Bullets. I'm going Bullets. I think I like the Taipans, man, but they've given up both their games against the Hawks. The Hawks are their only 2 wins. I don't know, man. I just don't know what's going on with the Taipans. Like, they can't put it together or something. Something happens and they just... Nate Jarwa was looking slick, though, against the Hawks, man. He's lost a little bit of weight. He's looking very good. Hawks at the Kings, the big blockbuster Sunday night. Sunday night?
I think, yeah, Sunday at 2:45, Kings.
Sunday Arvo, there you go. Kings, we'll go Kings again. I think we'll be too strong for the Hawks. Breakers at the Wildcats.
Wildcats. It's a long way to go for the Breakers.
Cats for me also. Did they beat them in preseason though, didn't they?
They did.
So did we, I guess. 36ers at Phoenix to close out the round. Phoenix.
We must play the Phoenix next weekend. It's the only team we haven't played.
Yes, you are correct. Round 8. Phoenix. Kings at the Phoenix. I will also go Phoenix in this game. Hey, well, you know what? One thing I missed from last year is just the crazy play names. Wizard. Yeah. A wizard. We've got to bring out the wizard. Okay, we're going to run a 12. Well, I got to go back and look through some of the footage and see what some of the funny plays was. But one last thing before we go. Will Weaver, watching him in the post-match, man, the dude is just so deep. It's just crazy, man. I can kind of see why this team's really, really sort of, in a human sense, just good things are like good vibes are happening, good things are happening, and in a human sense, like this team's playing on a really high emotional. Like that's probably not the way to do it. Like a really positively, emotionally charged type of atmosphere. Like you can feel it. Like you just feel this team is happy playing their basketball.
Yeah, I think it's happy. I think Bogut's happy. I think that there's a lack of. I mean, Gaze is very passionate, but I think that went almost into the wrong realm of passionate. You almost wore his heart on his sleeve too much, and you need to be a professional when you're a coach. I still go to my conspiracy theory that Will Weaver got ejected from that game to see if they could win without him. I'm telling you, man, he is that deep a thinker.
Because
I
that was
just didn't make sense.
four game stretch basically, and that was the only game we lost in that 4-game stretch. Like, that's pretty impressive. 4 games in 8 days.
Yeah, and I just think that he was just like, okay, can I trust my assistants to get this done? Question answer was no, but that's how deep I think he thinks. I think he thinks on that level. What happens if this happens and this happens? He's a complete strategist. I see him going to the NBA and having a really good coaching career post this. I don't know how we're going to be able to keep him in Australia post this contract.
Well, I think he wants to stay. Like from all things I've sort of seen, he's got a young family. They're quite happy here. Who wouldn't, if you've got a young family and can spend some time in Australia? I was thinking about it from that kind of perspective. It's not a Europe, maybe the Scandinavian countries or sort of like northern Germany maybe might be good for someone like that. But Australia's, man, I think we're going to see an influx of these people that are just like, NBL, sweet, I'll go there for a season. It's hot. It's all in summer. I can get a tan. Sweet, I'll go and spend a couple of years there and then go back to the NBA and do stuff like that. And I'd like to see some more exchange stuff looked at in the league. Like, yeah. I think there's a lot to learn and a lot to sort of take from the NBA and give back, because we've seen, like, who have we seen on telecast already this season? Like Sean Marion, like a crazy amount of like people coming down to watch the league. It's getting a lot of eyes, which is really, really good.
I would like to see an NBL All-Star, NBA All-Star crossover.
It would just get munched though, absolutely munched.
It'd be hilarious, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it'd be good. Even if it's just the USA team versus the NBA All-Stars.
I think they'd win.
But that's about it for round 5. 8-1 feels great. Round 6, sorry, yeah, it is round 6. I'm looking at round 5 on the little sheet I got here. My tipping is just dreadful. We're not going to talk any more about that.
Where am I? How many tips? How many am I on?
You're on 23 at the moment.
I only got 1 that round.
You got 2 that round.
Ooh, bad.
Yeah, rough round for me too. Only 3. Actually, that's an average round for me because I've been averaging 3 points a round. Very, very average. But Paul Fox, I think, is still leading. And Brendan Ningiga, did I brick that? I think that's how you pronounce his name. But shout it out in the comments, Paul, if that name was bricked. And do we need to do some Hawks? Nah. LaMelo?
Yeah, he had a good game against the Cairns. He looked really good.
Josh Boone's back now after that face injury. Sorry to talk over you.
Yeah, good to see him back. I think that strengthens their team up and makes them competitive, really. Without him, they're kind of just non-competitive. But they also really tightened up their rotation, and they're not seeing the deep garbage minutes. They've just not got a very strong bench, really. That's what it is. And you're going to have to tighten up rotations to get better players, more time on court, to be able to win games. Whether that translates to getting to the finals or the playoffs, I don't know. But they've really got to make a move in the next 2 weeks. Otherwise, they're just going to be nowhere left to go, really.
If only they could play the Taipans every week, eh?
Yeah,
they'd be 8-1 as well. All right, that's about it. That's a wrap for this round. We will be back at the end, probably Monday next week.
Yeah,
back on Monday to wrap the Illawarra. Just one game this week. A lot of other things happening around the league. Shout out to our NBA pod. We're getting that back up and running, and it's getting into the season. That's really good. So go and check that out. Aussies taking over the NBA. Like, share, and subscribe everywhere. And I'll let Andy take us out with a...
All right, guys.
Bricked.
Peace.
Oh, bro, I dimed you up and everything. We'll see you guys next time.
On the King's Down.
Take it easy, everyone. We'll see you next week.
See you guys. Take it easy.